self-taught artist, but I also call myself a mother-taught artist because my mother is an artist. So I grew up understanding you make your own things, and that's how you make your life. I've lived here in Homewood for 6 or 7 years, and I continue to respond to my neighborhood as actively and as presently as I can, as an artist, as an educator, and as somebody who fundamentally believes that art is a part of justice. And so I found a place to live where I could live and work in the same space, but I could also be inspired by the neighborhood. I could be activated in the ways that I've been charged and directed throughout my life. All of that I found in Homewood. I was sitting on my porch one day and I heard a whole bunch of gunshots at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I just decided not to just feel bad about it anymore. And I wanted to find a way to say stop. I started with 200 signs, and I think now we've made 2,000. So Love Front Porch is the name that we gave what was happening on my front porch. I live at the corner where there's a bus stop and people are asking questions. Kids want to jump the fence and come and make art, and that I'm kind of doing these cool things and they want to do it too. The clearest ways that I'm able to communicate with my imagination and in my best self, that happens through art. And everybody has a front porch, even if it's the metaphorical front porch, even if it's your welcome mat. Everyone has a place where they can reach out and share part of what they love with somebody else.
Our studios are housed in a large industrial building. It has been mostly vacant for the past 10 years. New owners came in a year and a half ago and purchased it to put businesses in, but then artists need studio space in Pittsburgh, and one by one, artists just started coming into the building, and it became this very organic process where we formed this community over the last year with 40 plus artists in this industrial space now.
This building is very special because it has this energy of movement and creativity that we love.
This amazing synergy has been happening in this building, and there's all sorts of resources, and I think people have just sort of flocked here kind of in an organic manner, just gradually building up through word of mouth.
And it just has a nice sense of creativity and sharing.
We work with a lot of other great artists, and we always feel that it enhances what we do when we find like-minded people that can work with us.
Not only am I a practicing artist in Pittsburgh, but I'm one of the people running the CSA Pittsburgh, Community Sustained Art Program, where artists produce additional works, community members buy shares and get original artwork from these artists to help build their collections or foster a new collection if they haven't collected art before. This project is another vehicle, both economically and in the marketing field, for artists to get out there, and not just the artists, but for the people in the community to have access to quality work at an affordable price.
Pittsburgh has a lot of amazing artists, whether it's performing arts or the visual arts. And I think it has been a well-kept secret, but I think it's just now starting to get out into the world that there's so many amazing artists, and it's a good community to tap into, to find collaborators and to find some sort of inspiration.
Flight School Fellowship is a professional development program for individual artists in southwestern Pennsylvania. The goal is to give artists the tools, confidence, and community to actually move forward in their career on their own.
So we aren't looking at what they do in their studio, but looking at what they do to promote themselves as artists, to further their career, to get sales, to get exhibitions, to get grants, to publish books, to get their work out there.
The Flight School Fellowship is a concept from Hillary Robinson, the former fine arts dean at Carnegie Mellon University. Over the course of weekend workshop and then 8 weeks following that, we present tools to the fellowship group. We wanted to figure out a way to incubate those artists and keep them here and create a city where individual artists thrive.
I think it's a very unique program that you actually wouldn't find anywhere else in the country. And for Pittsburgh artists, it's a unique opportunity for them to really focus on their careers and talk about the things that they don't usually talk about with other artists or with other professionals.
Artists are able to get grants and create projects and actually collaborate across disciplines with the community that is actually created within each fellowship group.
And then what we find is that they form partnerships and they work on projects together and they apply for funds together, and really new art comes out of that process of them being in the same room. They're able to use each other as a resource as well as continue to promote their activities within the group, and really we're trying to work on creating a community.
The City of Asylum began in 2004 to provide sanctuary to writers exiled under threat of persecution. Writers in exile have come from countries ranging from China, El Salvador, Burma, Venezuela, and we've had visiting writers now from 42 different countries. We found that making a home for freedom of speech and writers that are persecuted also made a better home for our own community. So now we offer a full range of literary programs.
When you think of the word sanctuary, you think of a closed place, a shelter. But in our case, in the north side of Pittsburgh, the community is actually the sanctuary for our writers.
We gathered neighbors from the community to guarantee that the program could exist because we're a grassroots program, unlike any other program in the world. We felt it was really important to be a grassroots organization.
Each of the City of Asylum houses on Sampsonia Way on the north side has some text on it. The first house that we developed was the house of Wang Shan, our poet from China, and he wrote an anthology of his poems on the face of the house.
Because of our events have so proliferated, we're now in the process of developing a literary center. It's called Alphabet City, and it'll have a bookstore, a reading space, a performance space, a space for workshop, free book distribution. You know, many people have asked us, and we've thought a lot about why is Pittsburgh such a welcoming place and a place where things can happen. And I think it's because people here have a can-do attitude. We can make a difference, and you don't see that in a lot of places.
Pittsburgh is a transparent mobile talk show that goes to all 90 neighborhoods in Pittsburgh in order to basically get folks in Pittsburgh talking about what they like, what they don't like about their neighborhoods. This is actually part of Pittsburgh's 25-year master plan. They're doing a plan of public art and urban design, and this is outreach to get people, oftentimes strangers, talking to each other about their neighborhoods. So as part of their outreach strategy, the city wanted to have an artist develop a methodology that would be a little less conventional than just asking people to show up to a community meeting. And so what we have here is, a strategy where the meeting goes to the city, goes to people. And one of the things I learned was that even though most of us have never been on a talk show, everyone miraculously knows how to behave on a talk show. So it's a really comfortable way in which someone can tell their own story, but that story can then get reframed. I think experimentally, Pittsburgh's actually a really unique city. It's starting to build an audience. You can do anything here. You can try and fail and try again on projects. You don't need to have a tremendous amount of money to get something off the ground. They're kind of platforms for participation so that the producers of content in many of these projects that I do are actually just the public.
Strayhorn Theater is a neighborhood-based contemporary performing arts center. And actually, we're more than performance. We do film as well, and lectures and workshops. We really want to be the place where people in our neighborhood come to for an interesting art experience, but also to meet other people in the neighborhood. When I started, I felt like there was an opportunity for a place to really be a neighborhood hub, to be the neighborhood theater, and really be the place where on a Friday night, people might say, oh, I wonder what's going on at the Kelly Strayhorn. Let's stop by, let's see what's happening. It feels very natural to have a conversation about what I've just seen on stage with someone that I don't know. And it gives people a reason to talk to one another. I think in museums and in theaters and in galleries, especially when you're seeing something that you're uncomfortable with, that you're not really sure what's happening, it's kind of natural to turn to the person next to you and say, what was that? What did you think that was? And to open a conversation. There's also, I think, a community of support amongst artists. People are friendly and supportive of one another. And it's a very fertile ground for testing and developing over time. For an organization like us, that's exciting because we are about discovering and supporting new talent. And so to be part of a scene where new ideas and new talent can flourish and grow is exciting for us.
CAPA is a very extraordinary and amazing performing arts public school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where kids who are in 6th grade all the way to 12th grade get to learn from professional artists in the areas of dance, visual arts, music, theater, technical theater, and writing.
CAPA is live. It is always energetic. The vibe is so great here. It's like we're family.
I think by studying these kinds of disciplines at CAPA, our kids are learning how to be creative. I think they're learning how to have a passion for something in their lives, and they're learning that they can accomplish something greater with a group of people than they can by themselves.
We go out there and share the talents that we have with other people. They're very inspired, and it brings them to us so that they can learn about different art forms as well.
All the instrumental teachers here, they've all pushed me to get better at music. Keep going with studies, participating in outside events. It all has contributed to my development as a musician and a person.
I learned so much just about my type of arts, my music, from CAPA that I feel like I'm ready to go out in the world and share it with everyone.
CAPA is truly why I am who I am today. I've learned so much, vocally, academically, and honestly, there's no place like CAPA.
and we teach all these things through music, through dance, through art, I think they're learning a much greater lesson. Whether they choose to continue doing music later on in life or not, they take what they learn and become something bigger.
Is an installation that's part of Project Pop-Up Pittsburgh. It's inspired by my dad's collection of popular science magazines where robots were a common theme. I just needed a vehicle to tell these different stories, and the tiny robot inside was a way for me to do that. Project Pop-Up was a program brought forth from the Downtown Pittsburgh Partnership, and the goal of it was to fill vacant storefronts in the cultural and business areas of downtown. By filling these vacant storefronts, it's really bringing in new businesses, bringing in people to see what's happening downtown. I get the broadest range of reactions on this shop. Some people think it's an actual business, and some people know it's an art installation right off the bat. Generally, my art pieces aren't about making big statements or have hidden meanings. They're more for just enjoyment of the general public. I want people to stop by just because they like the styles of the 50s and 60s. Items back then were better made, they were quality, they were built in America, and I'm kind of bouncing off of that when I built this shop. A lot of the elements of the repair shop were acquired through flea markets and yard sales and sometimes eBay auctions. Some of the customized pieces, like the charts and the paint cans, I built those on the computer and just had them printed out. I like doing as much as I can on my own. I don't like going to fabricators to make my artwork. I like being a hands-on kind of guy. The robot repair shop has helped me immensely as an artist. It's touched off a few custom commissions. It's brought my work to a whole new crowd of people that I would never have had contact with if it wasn't for this shop. It's been a godsend. It's the best part of my career thus far.